Hello, everybody. Welcome to be here today to one of the latest after parties, Microsoft Ignite Arts After Party 2022. I'm Nico Fernandez. Happy to be here today, being your host and being with these great professionals with me. I will let them introduce themselves. Wilmer, do you want to be the first?
Thank you, Nico. Hey, everyone. Well, I think some of them, maybe, I hope that some of you guys already know me. But anyway, my name is Wilmer. I'm from Ecuador. I'm working with my colleague and dearest friend, Ben de Blanken at Dynamic People. And we are really happy to be here with Nico as well for this, so far, the latest Ignite after party.
Thank you, Wilmer. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure always to share with you this screen. Ben, want to go next?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me, Nico. As Wilmer said, I'm from the Netherlands, colleague of Wilmer, and yeah, I already have 15 years in the field with Dynamics CRM and then transitioning to the Power Platform. So really enjoying myself and looking forward to, well, maybe we should call it a pre-party for the next Ignite.
Yeah, could we? Could be the pre-party for the release note that is, right around the corner. Summit, pleasure to have you here. Going to
Yeah,
introduce yourself.
yeah. Hi. Thank you for having me, Nico. So Nico, CL Tech, and regarding myself, I'm sort of again close to experience, pretty much a Dynamics guy, but delved into Power Platform from last, enjoying it. So that's now my bread and butter. So talking all things Power Platform.
Thank you, Summit. I think that there's a slightly audio issue, but
Yeah,
I think it was good enough to hear you. So, lastly, I'm Nico Fernandez. For those who don't know me, lucky you. I'm currently working, as Sumit say, in HCL Tech, EMEA, working on pre-sales, director, whatever fits better. I'm being an MVP for 3 years already. I'm really excited to do these type of things. And yeah, that's good enough for introductions. If it, the idea for today is to comment on the hyper automation breakout session on Microsoft Ignite. So we're going to share with you the presentation. We're going to stop the video for some moments, and we're going to, of course, discuss on the news that were shared in that breakout session. Okay, that's a plan. Let's roll the video.
let's jump to
Captured
it.
analysts' attention as well. Microsoft was recently named a leader in the 2022 Gartner Magic Quadrant for Robotic
I
Process Automation.
think we need to send back to zero. Yeah, now it's ready.
Welcome to Hyperautomation in the Cloud with Power Automate. My name is Steven Siciliano, Vice President of Power Automate, and joining me today is Christy Jeffson, Director of Product Management for RPA. We've got a great agenda for this session. Not only will we showcase some of our latest innovations, but we'll also look at how you can establish an automation practice that seamlessly scales productivity across your enterprise. Over the past 6 years, Power Automate has continued to make an impact on millions around the globe. Over 500,000 organizations have adopted Power Automate, and they're experiencing automation positively changing the way that they work, opening opportunities to refocus their attention where it's needed most. And these organizations come in all sorts of sizes, such as T-Mobile, who used RPA and Power Automate to integrate systems during the Sprint merger, and the Seattle Visiting Nurse Association, a family-owned healthcare business who streamlined communication to patients and automated parts of their billing process. And Power Automate has captured analysts' attention as well. Microsoft was recently named a leader in the 2022 Gartner Magic Quadrant for Robotic Process Automation, RPA. And earlier this year, we were named a leader in the Forrester Wave Digital Process Automation Software Q4 2021. From our out-of-the-box inclusion in Windows 11, a large and motivated partner community ready to drive mass adoption, and auto-scaling unattended RPA in the cloud, Power Automate is here to help you succeed. But it doesn't stop there. Power Automate is part of the Microsoft Power Platform, a cloud-first suite of business applications that, when used together, help enable a practice known as hyperautomation. Gartner defines hyperautomation as a business-driven, disciplined approach that organizations use to rapidly identify, vet, and automate as many businesses and IT processes as possible. And it involves the orchestrated use of multiple technologies, tools, or platforms. With Power Platform, you can keep your hyperautomation practice centralized with a single portfolio of low-code and pro-ready tools that work and flow seamlessly together, built on Microsoft security and trust. And with Power Automate being the connection between your data and user experiences, regardless of if they have APIs or not, seamlessly scaling hyperautomation across the cloud is achievable. From the maker experience all the way to how you govern, we've launched new ways to help you succeed. Let's take a closer look. First, let's talk about the maker experience. Power Automate's low-code, drag-and-drop designers have made it possible for anyone to automate and are still powerful enough for coders to build advanced solutions. And we're making this experience even easier. Now, you can describe what you want to automate in a sentence, and AI will build your flow in seconds. No endless searching or guesswork. Just describe it and let Power Automate work its magic. The implementation relies on OpenAI Codex, an AI model descendant of GPT-3 that can translate natural language to code. In this case, Power Automate Cloudflows. This is the same technology behind GitHub Copilot and Power Apps Ideas. Let's take a look at a scenario that shows you how this works. AdventureWorks Cycles is a bicycle manufacturing distributor. David Bailiu is a quality manager at the company and wants to stay on top of the feedback from his customers. He has added a Microsoft Forms survey on the company website so customers can share their feedback. Every time there's a new response, David wants it stored in a SharePoint list. He wants to jump on any negative feedback, so if anybody answers very dissatisfied in the survey, a message notification will be sent immediately to a Teams channel. Well, great news, David. Power Automate has you covered. In the Create page for Power Automate, we now have a new option to create a Cloudflow. You describe it, AI builds it. Let's go ahead and select it. With this new option, creating a flow is just as easy as describing what you want to automate in your own words. Instead of figuring out how to create the flow, I just describe it. When someone responds to my survey, store the responses in a SharePoint list. If someone responds very dissatisfied, send a message in Teams, and then I hit enter. We get back a suggested flow for what we're looking to automate. A preview gives me an idea of what the flow will do for me. This looks good. The hard part is over. Now I just need to configure the connection info to the different applications involved in this automation, and fill the details, such as the name of the Microsoft form, the SharePoint address, and the Teams channel. And there you have it, a true no-code experience with the power of artificial intelligence. Knowing which 4 actions to stitch together, as you see here, may not be intuitive for everyone, but describing what they want is a lot simpler. We can further customize it if we want, and then save it. Pretty cool, right? At launch, we're supporting key Microsoft 365 apps and services. And in the coming months, we'll be expanding this to cover even more of your favorite connectors. Now, let me show you another feature we've worked on to help.
We cannot hear you, Nico.
That was on purpose,
Okay.
just the mystery, some suspense. No, I was saying, better to stop him before jumping to the next one, so we can have a moment to comment. So, no code, low code, the AI-driven suggestions. What do you think?
Really cool with this AI feature now that you can describe it what you want, and that will build your the Cloudflow for you. I mean, that's awesome for citizen developers. mean, how cool it is to save a lot of time, to think about how you can create the Cloudflow. Right now, it's just write down a sentence and that will create all the steps for you. I'm a technical guy. I'm a little bit of let's say, the devil's lawyer. So this will create a lot of steps for you. That's cool, but not the best one, I think. I'm not sure. So I don't know. What do you think, Ben?
I agree, Wilmer. I think you. When I saw the video, I really wanted to dive deep into what fields are entered, what are the fields filled in. But I like a good starting point.
Yeah, sure.
If you have 2 sentences to write your flow and you have all the 5 or 6 or 7 building blocks already there, yeah, that's going to save a lot of time, even for us. And you, Sumit, what do you think?
I think you rightly mentioned. I think this is going to aid more of people who are citizen dev. Earlier, they used to look for, these small templates. Like it's going to add on to that, where they cannot find a template, and if they can describe and like a couple of steps. It may not be the obviously optimized steps, but I would say baby steps. So that's quite powerful.
Yeah, I think I will show you, and I think I will add something, some spicy, because I will be a devil's lawyer as well. I love it. I love the AI driven stuff, but right now it's limited. It's Microsoft 365. I think it was mentioned. It will
a few connectors, I think.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think I want to be with Dynamics, SAP, Salesforce connectors. I prefer to keep it on the productivity plane for the moment. Keep that evolve, the AI feature evolve with productivity only, because as soon as you start including these in your real life projects and not your productivity toys, consumption flows, it could be kind of scary. And also, I think it's from a COE perspective, it's a really nice way to convince people to use the Power Automate Cloudflows, because it's not that scary, right? You just tell the application whatever you want. If it's not giving you can drop it if you want, but at least try it. You cannot say it's hard because it's just talking natural language. It's breaking that wall, I think, on the haters and the.
Yeah, well, I think is that this feature is awesome for sales and pre-sales stuff. For sure.
You're selling that. You're saying that we do some smoking mirrors.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's really good for pre-sales now.
Yeah, but it depends, because if you're talking with an enterprise level customer, the last, and depending on who you're talking with, if you're talking with IT, the last thing they want is an AI-driven feature to configure the Power Automates they will have to govern. So it can be scary for them as well. But again, I think depending on how you see and how you approach it, from adoption perspective, I think it's really good. I was able to participate in the preview on the IDEA feature in Power Apps, and it was really nice. It was really nice seeing how that evolved as well. But of course, also it's just for English, so no Latam, no Spanish for the moment. Probably.
That's true. The guy at the video mentioned that it's the same feature as behind us at Power Apps ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same technology. But what I missed in the video is immediately I noticed you can't put in connection references. So in your application lifecycle management, indeed, for your bigger projects, you will have to do some tweaking behind the scenes to make that work.
Yeah, that's why I think it's, for now, it's productivity, default environment, play there, or on your dev environment, your own developer environment, the community, I don't remember the name it has right now. Play there, don't break anything, don't try to send the report, make an automation, whatever you do something, an opportunity, try to cancel a case, whatever. Don't do that. Yeah. Even if it's available, don't do that. Okay, let's jump to the next one.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Let's go.
Perfect.
Writing expressions even easier. Often, unless you've taken the time to learn, writing expressions to work with your data in specific ways can be daunting. Well, now we're adding a new element to this process by leveraging AI to reshape the data you need how you need it. Like what's been done with Power Apps Ideas, we're bringing this similar experience to Power Automate, which is powered by Prose, a technology that enables programming by example, built by Microsoft Research, and that is the same technology behind FlashFill in Excel. To see how this works, let's go back to that previous scenario. David's automation is running exactly as planned. However, David would like to change the format of the date shown on the Microsoft Teams message. This requires using an expression in Power Automate. Expressions are a powerful way to do operations over data, but there's a steep learning curve. Now, we've made it super simple for users like David to format data by examples. Let me show you. Back to our flow, I go to the Teams action and select the new option, Format Data by Examples, on the expression menu. The first thing to do is to select the item I want to change its format. In this case, the submission time for the Microsoft Forms survey. Next, I enter an example of how the submission time is returned by default. And then, how we'll like it to be formatted. That's all. I then select Get Expression. And Power Automate returns the expression that will do this transformation. I didn't have to learn about the different functions in the Power Automate expression language. We can then test it and verify it with another date value that this expression does what we're looking for. We apply it to our flow, and there we have it. The date will now be written in the format we want. Next time the automation flow runs and a message is posted on Teams, the data is written the way we want it. These AI-driven experiences are truly revolutionary. By simply talking like a human, Power Automate can understand what you want to automate and will do the heavy lifting. We're excited to launch these features in preview, and we're looking forward to hearing your feedback. Next.
Pause. Next. Pause.
Next.
Ben, do you want to start now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I hate formatting dates, so I love this types of functionality. I'm always hesitant of what code will it generate. Is it the best code? I'm not sure, but it gives me a quick start, and that's what I really like. I also like the interface they build around it with the test and with the generation, and that you can actually test the code that it generates. Yeah, really like that. How about you, Wilmer?
Completely agree with you. I will not play the devil's lawyer this time. So because I struggle every time on a Cloudflow that I have to format data. So every time I have to go to I don't know, any blog from any MVP out there in the community to try to find out the right formula. And this is really, really handy, even for technical guys like you, Ben, like me. So completely in favor of this one.
Yeah. Sumit, opinions?
Yeah. I think this is, again, my favorite feature. And do that and then test it out, because as developers, as you might probably be good. The analogy is like writing a regex. Nobody remembers the syntax, right? So I think this sort of fits into that bucket where you can just describe it and somehow expression built up without having to spend a lot of time as and then.
Yeah, completely agree. And I would like to add, because I am a functional guy, so I really hate to format dates, right? It's not for me. It's not natural for me. And now it's going to be, if everything goes well, it's going to be much easier. And I won't have to hard code dates on my demos. So I will actually be able to use that dynamically. The magic of the demos, right? But yeah, I think these AI-driven features are really on the right direction, right? Choke aside. And of course, I was going to make a show before, who is going to suggest the customer to put SharePoint list to save the feedback? Put Dynamics, right? Give me some licenses. But Jokes aside, yeah, I think this is the right direction. And again, if you think it from a citizen developer approach, he's telling you, hey, this guy has an SMB. He won't invest in a lot of money. He can do that with his Office 365 license to create everything. So that's the meta message on this video as well, on this part of the breakout session. So everybody can do that, even if they don't have money to hire, an implementation, an SI, or have expensive licenses. Office 365 is good enough, or Microsoft 365, I should say now. It's good enough. He can do it by himself with natural language. I think that's a key message as well to give me consideration.
Yeah. This is starting out, I think, with at least on the example, as I can see, is with date. Sorry, but I'm not sure because I haven't tried yet. I'm not sure if this will work, for example, with a collection or an array. When you try to iterate those elements to apply some custom logics or maybe kind of more advanced formulas. I'm wondering if that will work again with this.
Yeah, I didn't try it yet either. I will assume that if it's not supported yet, it will. So if you take as an example the document processing AI builder model, how it was at the beginning, really simple, and how it is today, that is pretty mature.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, the investment is in the right place, and they are doing a lot of things to make the AI model more complex, the AI as a service models more complex. So I think we'll get there.
Nice.
Okay, let's continue with the next.
Let me pass it over to Christy.
Thanks, Stephen. As we know, one of the top scenarios that lends itself to automation is working with Excel, where we're commonly working on manual, cumbersome, repetitive tasks like data entry, data management, and reporting. Now we're pleased to share that we're integrating Power Automate natively into Excel Online, letting you create custom flows using pre-built templates tailored to what you can accomplish with Excel. As you can see, Excel Online now has an Automate tab in the ribbon. Simply click it and select Power Automate to see the templates that are ready to automate with popular apps such as Microsoft Forms and SharePoint. With this new experience, which is rebuilt from ground up, users who use Excel on a frequent basis can quickly automate what they need without ever leaving where they work. And if you want to do even more with your Excel spreadsheet, be sure to check out this webinar, which talks about how you can use Power Automate and Office Scripts together to take hyperautomation to the next level. These are just some of the ways we're helping people create automation faster and boost productivity. But like we said earlier, hyperautomation is made up of a set of different technologies working together to create greater results. So let's look at another integrated technology which is part of our Power Platform family, Power Virtual Agents.
Yeah, before Power Virtualization.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. We're going there, right? We're going from the citizen developer for more complex things, and yeah, things getting interesting. This doesn't, not many comments. I will take the lead on this one, the easy one. So it's great. They're adding more features on Excel Online. I think it's a great thing for productivity, personal productivity. It will encourage people again from the adoption perspective. I think it's really great to make it closer, make it easier for people to start using Power Automate. So I'm really pro these type of things.
But what do you think in behind when you choose the template from Excel that will create a Cloudflow automatically as well for you with taking, of course, your data from the Excel? Do you think any requirements or considerations regarding with the data format? So it has to be like a table.
Yeah, it's like always. So it will take. I will assume, I didn't try it, but I will assume it will take as parameter the Excel where you're working on.
Yeah.
And potentially, I will assume you can take the page actually, or the sheet actually where you're standing. I don't know if that is it takes that. But if you don't have the table format in your Excel, it's like, yeah, you're not going to do anything here.
Cool.
These things are sort of giving an easy way, but again, I'm 100% sure this will go and add it all in your default environment. while it's quite good, but again, if you're sort of building an app for a targeted use case, probably go back and use the maker experience and solution experience to add a flow. Then there who wants to get the hands dirty and they're more familiar with that Excel, so their play area, they might probably feel benefited that they don't have to leave the Excel, another tab to connect to Power Automate. I think they're done for Power BI as well, I remember. So they're making all the citizen dev who are coming from like M365 background. So that's a good, as you mentioned Nico, earlier as well. To me, all of these are making it accessible. Of course, we'll take it as a caution.
Yeah, I think that's the key, making things more accessible.
That's what
Ben,
the team was. Do more. What is that?
With less.
Do more with. Do more.
Yeah, I don't like that phrase. I know why they say that, but last week I was in a customer workshop with Microsoft. Microsoft say that a few times. The first time sounds well. I don't think saying that too much can sound well every time, right? But yeah, I prefer more. More power, less code. Less code, more power.
That's more of a community phrase, right?
Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah.
Ben, any last comment before we jump to the most important parts, PVA?
Let's go to PVA.
Okay, that's a great comment. Let's go.
Earlier
Sorry.
this year at Microsoft Build, we shared how you can create and call automated workflows right from the conversational bot experience in Power Virtual Agents and Power Automate. A true innovative method for leveraging hyperautomation within your organization by using automation through conversation. Today, we're excited to announce that the intelligent bot authoring experience for Power Virtual Agents will be available in preview starting November 10th. This new experience unifies the sophistication of low-code and pro-code capabilities, which is a fusion of the Azure Bot Framework Composer and Power Virtual Agents bot building experience. Pro-code and low-code users can build together with multi-authoring and commenting capabilities while taking advantage of the latest functionalities such as PowerFX. And with this comes many more scenarios that bring conversational bots into your hyperautomation journey. Whether it's building an engaging adaptive card, showcasing data from Power Automate's over 750 connectors, or manipulating and transforming your data with PowerFX, new horizons for how you communicate with automation have now been unlocked. Again, new and existing users of Power Virtual Agents will have these features automatically turned on starting November 10th. Be sure to follow the Power Virtual Agents blog so you can stay up to date on this new experience. As we just mentioned,
let's digest this slowly, right?
Cut. Yeah.
Ben, go.
The Power Virtual Agent new authoring experience is great. It's really impressive what they've done the last couple of years. I was slightly worried that they didn't bring on new features to Power Virtual Agent, but now I know what they were working on, the new authoring experience and combining bot framework and all the technology with the Power Virtual Agent. We now have PowerFX inside the canvas. We can build adaptive cards inside of the to post in your bot. So it's really great.
Yeah, for me, last time that I tried PVA was more than a year ago. And I used with the framework composer, the bot framework composer. Was a nightmare for me. I think I spent like 2 days, something like that, to create a small adaptive card. And now that I can see this, that they are bringing that experience into the maker experience, awesome. I mean, I don't know. It's just a simple. That's the word. It's making the life simpler, easier to make the boats in let's say in a fewer clicks.
And it makes sense that this conversions between the bot and PVA because many customers were already saying, "Hey, but what should I use, and why is so different? It is Microsoft, right?"
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see the conversions and not the deprecation of one of those, like in the past probably would happen. So yeah, I agree. I used Power Virtualization a few weeks ago, but and it was yeah. So it is easy to use. It is really natural to use for somebody like me that is a functional guy, not developer. But now that it's putting, I said before, like less code, more power. But this is more like pro code unite. I think
Yeah,
it's
indeed. It's this
phrase.
fusion development story coming together
Yeah,
here.
completely. Sumit, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I personally like the two stuff. One was that power. Whenever I used to do bot, and for me, like you have to write a flow, and then I didn't know a way of writing an expression then and there, which was missing, and I had to do like a workaround table as an output, and I didn't used to like it because that would have been like a one-liner where I could just power effects. The next thing is this adaptive. I think I'm blown away by the low code, because remember when we had to do adaptive card, we have to go and get the JSON out and do like so much simpler. And not only in this PV, I think in the Power Apps adaptive card, low code adaptive card experience, I'm liking it. In PV as well, I think it's gonna be game chase would probably look very nice. You can copy paste from here to there, and I think they sort of retain the context. I've read, I've not tried it, so pretty excited to see this.
Yeah, well, and talking about the adaptive cards, I think it was Priyesh Wag that posted an article, a blog article a few days ago about creating the card for Power Platform, for Power Apps, and then extracting the JSON from that and using it as an adaptive card was really good, because yeah, I don't like to create adaptive cards, right? I created a few last week based on the templates, and then it was really pain on the head to change it and hard code things, because of course it was a demo. Yeah, I hard code things on demo. Oh, surprise, surprise. But now, with this approach on cards, transform to adaptive cards, opens a lot of things for me. So
I like the idea, but it's the cards functionality. It's just too early for me. They need to do
too
more
green.
features in that. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the concept,
Yeah.
and the opportunity that opens. But of course, and as a reminder, there we always say on the sessions with Wilmer, if this is in preview, it's not for production. So don't mess around with production things or
Really?
preview things on production, or worse, in experimental. So let's continue with the next news. Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Over 750 connectors are counting are available in Power Automate, spanning both first and third-party connectors. In case you missed us at the Microsoft Power Platform Conference in September, we announced the details about our SAP ERP connector that helps bridge the gap between SAP and other systems. Another item we announced builds on top of this connector with a pre-built solution utilizing Power Platform's low-code tools with Azure Logic Apps. This pre-built solution offers a streamlined view of SAP's ERP core business functions while automating the workflows behind the scenes. To sign up for the public preview and learn more about this exciting advancement in SAP integration, visit this link. We've just seen a lot of incredible...
Yeah, we've seen a lot of incredible things. Let's move slow. SAP surrounding, right? That's a major topic.
Yeah, indeed. And I know that there is already a connector you can use on Power Automate, but the last part with the solution, that was kind of new.
It's a Canvas app that allows you. So right now, I think it's only for order to sales orders integration.
Sales orders, okay.
Yeah. And it enables you a quick way to integrate. And actually, the new connector it's much easier to call the BAPIs. I think it's RFC, the name. I'm not an SAP guy, so I'm not the right person. Actually, I'm supporting somebody. There's somebody on the team working right now on configuring this for the demo. So it has a lot of flows out of the box already built to orchestrate the integration. So it's really nice how Microsoft is closing the gap, and it's actually helping on this. That is one of the most required use cases, right? The integration between SAP and SAP and Power Platform.
So cool! Didn't know this. So we say it's a Canvas app and a lot of flows in behind with this solution. Use
it is a solution that you install, and we will give you that. And again, then you need to configure everything.
Configure the embedded Canvas app, I think, right?
Yeah, on the flows as well, of course. You need to configure it, to put the connections, everything. And then you need, of course, to select the right BAPI that you want to call, etc. But I think it's closing the bridge between because, as far as I understand, it's more citizen developer approach, more business SME approach, the new connector, than the previous one that you actually needed to know the internal SAP stuff.
Yeah,
it's less technical in that aspect. So yeah, I like it. Again, many conversations the past year on SAP surrounding. So hopefully when this came out of preview, will open more conversations.
Cool.
Well, I do projects, and we don't do any SAP projects, so I never heard customers asking for this. But I was at the Power Platform conference in Orlando a few months ago, and when this was announced, it was a big round of applause. For a lot of people were really excited about better connectors for SAP. So I think there's a lot of demand for this.
Yeah, I think it's because they acquire Clear Software, if I recall correctly the name. So yeah, again, it's nice to see good acquisitions, not like Nokia, that are being now part of real products. Okay, shall we continue?
Let's
Next
go.
round.
Features on how you can create automation. Now let's talk a little bit about new ways you can manage your automation. First, we're pleased to share that we have 2 new solution kits to help manage, govern, and scale your hyperautomation practice. Typically, for any organization to establish a successful automation culture, you need to build an automation center of excellence to maximize the organization's investments and define guardrails, enabling a stronger development of RPA and other hyperautomation scenarios for digital transformation in a controlled manner. We recently launched a public automation kit as an open source GitHub project, helping accelerate your organization's automation based on industry's best practices. This kit has been created from customer feedback from around the globe by those who are already using Power Platform as their choice for hyperautomation. To learn more about this new automation kit, visit this link. The second kit we're introducing is based on a key use case that we see across every industry and department: approvals. That's why we've now introduced the Business Approvals Kit, a solution that will accelerate creating your approvals, and it's now in preview. The Business Approvals Kit is a no-code, ready-made template built on top of Power Platform components. It allows your organization to configure sophisticated approvals, such as multi-staged approvals and conditional branching approvals, all without needing to write a single line of code, empowering every person in your organization to do more with less for your organization's approval needs. To learn more about this Business Approvals Kit, visit this link. While these...
Let's stop there. 2 kits to talk about. So, Sumit, want to start on this one?
Yeah, sure. I think automation kit is, I think they installed a couple of months back, and when I looked at it now, I think they are packaged. In fact, one of the things, and not related to this, is the Power Automate based on Creator Kit. So, I wanted to explore Creator Kit, and I was looking at this new, the automation COE, the latest one. When you install it, it actually has all those goodies of, tracking the ROI, which I think is, and even the second one, which I've not tried, is that business approval kit. If you have very complex approval that you cannot do it in a business process flow or through Power, maybe this is going to be helpful. Again, those are two exciting, but by the looks of it, it's quite good to dig.
Yeah, I agree. Both are exciting to explore, but I'm a bit confused why we now have two Center of Excellence kits, one for automation, one for apps or the platform. I'm a bit confused about that, but on the other hand, I don't do a lot of RPA, so I think it comes in handy when you have a lot of RPA and unintended robots that you need to govern. But I do like what Stephen mentioned also in his keynote, that you got a lot of return of investment values from that automation kit. So that will help drive the correct investments in your organization. And for the approvals, actually we built our own custom solution at Dynamic People around approvals, not using the out-of-the-box functionality, basically because of all these kind of options that they now bring out in this approval kit. So I'm looking forward to join the preview if I'm allowed soon. Yeah.
I do hope that in the future they unify them, these two kits or automation kit, let's say.
Well,
What do you think?
actually, I like the idea of they're being modular. Sorry, my kids just opened the door just to give me a kiss. Kids. So I like the idea of being modular. So you have a core for platform COE, and then you have the option of adding the automation COE. I think by default, every organization should have a COE strategy when this, because Power Platform is there. Even if they don't like it, it's there, right? And it's like, once I've been told, okay, Microsoft first created the issue of democratizing the technology, and now they're selling us the solution with the COE. And it's like, could be. I prefer to say that now you have a way to govern the shadow IT that will exist anyway. Could be with Power Automate, Power Apps, could be with APN, any platform, any solution, it will be there. But now with Power Platform, you have a way to actually govern the shadow IT. So it will be like a enlightened shadow IT. I don't know how to say it. In Spanish, it will be much easier for me. But yeah, I like that. And again, I like the opportunity to be modular. I think, yeah, it creates confusion. Maybe it wasn't well communicated. There's a few nice diagrams that shows you how, I think like a Venn diagram, not you, Ben, like yeah. Sorry. That they're more, visual, just to understand. But I like it. And this one, the approval kit, honestly, I never heard about it until I saw this session.
Yeah.
So it was a nice surprise to see a solution like this. But I have to say, it's like Microsoft building all these Canvas apps with the modular enough look and feel. So it's like confusing me, right? The other one, the SAP integration, now the approval one. It's like, why confuse me?
Yeah, sorry.
It's a bit of
Go on, Ben.
Yeah, sorry. Bit of a mix-up between semi-community build that they bring in as a kit that you can install with the Center of Excellence and automation, and it has the same feel as the Creator Kit, also semi-community driven, but also, the product team themselves adopt it, and it also feels the same with these business approval kits. probably started somewhere in the community and now it's adopted by the product team.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
I was
Wilmer,
about
you
to
were
say
going
that, yeah, I was about to say the same as you, Nico. Never heard of this approval kit before until I watched the video. But I mean, don't get me wrong, it's awesome. It's awesome, this kind of functionalities, this kind of feature. But I'm confused because I think I read on the second wave this year that this will be out of the box feature for next year. So multi-stage approvals. And this is
the
again
sequential approvals,
that's the
right?
yes, indeed. And now with this kit approval kit, it's like it's not the same. It's
No,
I don't-
I think this is going to be like a wizard to easily create the approvals. And I was actually going to comment on the sequential ones because it's like, okay, and in 2 months when that comes, are they going to update the application, or it's going to be already an old application? I was going to comment that mostly because you comment that on the chapter. Thank you for that. Yeah, that's my promo moment. Yeah, my first book is about to go publish, so and I have the pleasure of having Wilbur as one of the technical reviewers. So yeah, I don't know. I like these things. I like how Microsoft is investing in these tools. I agree, Ben, that some of them are community driven or starting the community. All the things is like, why don't you build this as a core product, right? I think we commented, Wilmer, on a previous session, the security, how it's called, the security app for Dataverse, that it shows you each user, the users and the roles and the teams and the column level. And it's a really nice, well, it's not pretty, but it's a nice application, adding a lot of functionality. But it's like, why don't you build in as a core product? Why I need to to put that on by myself? But yeah, I like it. Okay, let's jump to the next, right?
Yep, let's go.
Yeah.
That's an excellent way to establish best practices. Let's shift to another functionality of Power Automate, and that is built right in and helps you scale automation seamlessly across your enterprise. Today, Power Automate already provides ways for you to bring your own infrastructure for desktop automation, which is commonly known as robotic process automation, or RPA. It's been easy to set up your machines and register them to your Power Automate environments with features like machine direct connectivity and machine groups. And now, with Power Automate's hosted RPA bots in preview, we go one step further by managing your unattended RPA scenarios for you. Hosted RPA bots allow you to run unattended RPA at scale, fully hosted in the cloud. It's easy to set up your hosted RPA bots. Just provide a few parameters. Just give it a name, max number of parallel bots allocated to this group, which base image and which account you want to use, and you're all set. By default, we provide a Windows image, which is already sufficient for web automation. But if you need more advanced automation with specific desktop applications, you can bring your own VM image through our integration with Azure Compute Galleries. Hosted RPA bots will automatically scale based on your needs. You can now react to any spike in demand. You can optimize your infrastructure COGS to just what's actually needed. Hosted RPA bots also provides a way to share resources among your different automation scenarios. For example, you can have 10 bots shared between two groups, let's say one for sales and one for finance. The 10 bots could be dynamically assigned to either sales or finance based on the need. We're constantly improving these features. Keep watching Power Automate blog for updates coming soon. You can try hosted RPA bots right now and get 2 machines with a Power Automate trial. To get started and for more information, visit these links. And with that, back to you, Stephen.
And back to you guys. I love to be a co-host of the Ignite, right?
Maybe
I
next
see that.
So, hosted RPAs. That's all, above my league entirely. So, who wants to start here?
Well,
Sumit.
Yeah, I'll take a first take. I mean, so previously unattended RPA. For me, the fundamental problem was, you can you're one of those VMs that is your infra that people have allocated to you. What's happening on the load balancing side of thing, how many people, and we are like unattended bot and nobody's gonna use that, so it's free for you. There's no sort of concept as when the job is done, maybe turn on, turn off. It was more like synchronizing and checking with, okay, tell me this automation, which VMs are available, and he used to sort of pretty much know this is dedicated for you or for the department. I didn't have a say on how it is using resource capacity wise, but I think with this one that they're proposing is like, I've not tried this, but the way I understand it is whatever VMs are available, you compute. And you know how back in the day with, the analogy is with, again, CRM. So I think it's like, it is going to optimally, as if you have two competing processes, needing the bot, and you scale up and down, and you can define all those rules. So I think we are going to offload all of mundane task of managing, from the capacity standpoint, compute standpoint. I think it's a good one to try out, and obviously for enterprise scenarios, I think we had multiple pre-sales calls with big automation companies, and they're like, oh, I have in other technology, I can do this, but what can you do in your world? And we do and read the Microsoft documentation. So I think this would be a welcome change where we can investing heavily on this. We are that enterprise platform. So if you're coming from UiPath, we have answers to your problems. So I think this is a good one.
That's a great message, and you just disclosed that for RPA pre-sales opportunities, I always need your help. Wilmer, I think you were going to comment something as well.
Yeah, well, it's more like make the comparison with the example that I had in the past. I used RPA like 1 year ago, I think, maybe a little bit less. But in that scenario, it was an unattended RPA as well. And I used my own machine, on the customer side, of course. But every time that this process get slower, because I had to process a lot of documents, add digital sign on each document, grab all those documents, send email. So I did that on the RPA side. Sometimes the machine was too slow, so I had to communicate with the customer. And I think with this feature is awesome. It's just a fewer clicks, done. The resources, you can allocate more resources to this virtual machine in the end. And I didn't know that. Now you can or you have this feature that, depending on the needs, you can allocate more resources on one process or another. So in one bot or another. Kind of cool.
Yeah. So let's see what the future waits for us, right? Ben, can we move to the next one?
Yes, let's move to the next. Robotic processing is not for me.
Me neither. Don't think that. Let's move to the next one.
Thanks, Christy. This has been an exciting session for us, and we're eager to have you experience it all. To get started, sign in to powerautomate.com and see for yourself what's possible. And if you've never tried Power Automate before, sign up for our free 90-day trial that gives you full premium capabilities. Lastly, be sure to check out these other great resources from Microsoft Ignite to learn more. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, and this was all for today and hyperautomation. And I think for me, it was really good to have the hyperautomation all together. It's not hyperautomation, hyperautomation. So a new word on my English dictionary. Guys, any last comment to have from you? Sorry, I put you in the spotlight.
Well, no, for me, it's just I'm really happy because I didn't know about this approval kit or the solution with SAP, for this integration. So it's not just automate with Cloudflow as some of can think. It's more than that. It's way more than that. So I'm really happy to know all this stuff that they are adding every time on the Power Automate side, let's say.
Okay, Ben.
Yeah, I agree with Wilmer. A big point about hyper automation is also AI. So I was missing a bit of AI Builder in this session, but there are plenty other sessions at Ignite to look at AI Builder. So that story evolves, especially on the document side of document processing. So that's really cool. But this gives you a good overview of what's coming.
Right, agree. Sumit, any last word?
Yeah, I think Hyper finally getting some credit from Microsoft, because earlier they're making a lot of noise about how Power Apps and Figma and all those help. So I think finally automation and it's they're making all those things available as rightly mentioned in the video. Is not just about Cloudflow automation. Hollywood also it's called as part of hyper automation, even in the power automation. So I think it's good to see that Microsoft bringing that automation everywhere. So that to me is like an eye opener for people who are watching this video and following hyper automation.
Yeah, I agree. And my last word here is, I think hyper automation is one of the three pillars or three big offerings Power Platform has, at least for this year. The solution plays, they call it. So it makes sense at this point to see much better, products, TVA, RPA, even Power Automate Cloud Flows, right? It's really good. I take your comment, Ben. You're right. We have also the document automation toolkit. That's another kit we have, and that Microsoft is offering as as an accelerator. We need to think that all of these kits are accelerator. We don't need to rely on whatever Microsoft is doing on these kits. They're not closed products. They're things that are starting points, and we need to think about that. Last comment for me is that I love the automation COE because it is including more things that were missing on the starter kit. But I think it's more than and I know all of you already know that, and probably many of people watching this video knows as well, that when we talk about the COE, the automation COE or the starter kit are just tools, and that is not the only thing you need to consider in your COE strategy. That's a tool, only a tool. You can start from scratch from the tool perspective. You can build your own tools. So it's about strategy, it's about people, it's about processes, it's about adoption as well. And if you only think that by installing the COE starter kit or the automation starter kit, then you are mastering your COE, or even you have a COE, rethink about that. Take a moment to rethink your strategy, because that is not going to be good enough. I think that's my last comment. Wilmer, Ben, Sumit, thanks a lot for being here today, for sharing this after party, the best after party, of course, this year. Hope to see you soon, and thank you everybody there. Hope you enjoyed the England-Wales match that is about to start. And I'm not going to say who I'm going to win, right? It's kind of obvious, but thank you guys for being there, and see you soon.
Thank you, Nico. Thank you guys to be here. See you next one. Bye-bye.